rabt, alluding to the what? The link and the inseparable tie between fasting and what? And the Quran, specifically fasting in Ramadan. In Ramadan, we are supposed to, in addition to fasting, we're supposed to be very, very keenly attentive to reciting the Quran. To the point that some of the early Muslims who were teachers, like Imam Malik and Imam Ahmed, they taught a hadith, they taught fiqh, they taught usul, they taught all these things outside of Ramadan. In Ramadan, they did what? They closed up all of their books that they taught from, and they focused on what? The Quran. It is said that Ash-Shafi'i, rahimahullah ta'ala, he made a khatmah every night in Ramadan. He completed reciting the Quran every night in Ramadan. So Ramadan and the Quran, they go hand in hand. Then after that, he says, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ. So here, this is like a ta'keed li wujub as-siyam. It's like Allah is reiterating and emphasizing that fasting is something required على كل مسلم عاقل بالغ مقيم خالٍ من الموانع. Basically, Allah is saying that whoever amongst you is a Muslim, is in his right mind, he has reached the age of being pubescent and being required to fast, he is a muqim, he is a resident and not a traveler, and he is khalin min mawani, he is free of anything that will prohibit him or prevent him from fasting, that person is required to fast. فَلْيَصُمْهُ. Let him what? Let him fast. Then he says, وَمَنْ كَانَ مَرِيضًا أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ. So he mentions two of the what? Of al-mawani. Two of the things which will allow a person, give a person license not to fast. One of them being al-marad, to be ill, and the other one to be what? To be a traveler. And then he says, فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ, that they are allowed to suspend the fast and then make up the days they miss from other days. Notice, gave the ikhtiyar to what? To the person who suspended the fast. The marid gave him the choice of when to make up the missed days. Gave the person who was traveling the choice to make up the missed days. This is a rahmatun min Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't say that they have to make it up on these specific days, the longest days of the year, for example, but gave them the opportunity to do what? To choose to make it up the shortest days of the year. Y'all see that? طيب, ثم بعد ذلك, he says, وَلِتُكْمِلُ الْعِدَّةَ. We'll mention just the commentary on that real quick. وَلِتُكْمِلُ الْعِدَّةَ. That basically, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no, before that, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He doesn't want any person to fast in a way or under circumstances that make fasting extraordinarily difficult. If the difficulty of fasting is something which is beyond what would normally be expected, He doesn't want a person to fast in those circumstances. That's why He says, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ. He wants to make things easy. He doesn't want to make things difficult. And that's why when the Prophet ﷺ was fasting once on a very long journey, on a very, very hot day, and it was said to him, Ya Rasulullah, inna nas qad كيف الحديث قد شق عليهم الصوم. He said, O Messenger of Allah, fasting has become difficult for the people. The people are struggling. They're fasting because you're fasting, but they're struggling with it. So the Prophet ﷺ, he went to the front of the caravan and he took his water skin and he broke his fast in front of everyone so they would see him breaking his fast. And he instructed the people to break their fast. And then after that, he was told that some of the people, among those who had found fasting very difficult, but they continued to what? To fast even after the Prophet had broken his fast. He said, وَلَيْكَ الْوَصَاتِ. These ones are the disobedient ones. These are the rebellious ones. They were fasting, and it was an obligatory fast. But when the Prophet broke his fast, because what? Allah does not want us to fast if it's going to be extraordinarily difficult. He doesn't want anyone to be on the verge of what? Of death, or his health being undermined. His health being undermined because he's fasting. Allah doesn't want that. يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمْ الْيُسْرَ. And then he says, we'll close with this, وَلِتُكْمِلُ الْعِدَّةَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He doesn't just want the believers to fast. So Hatim, he fasts 21 days, and I fast 24 days, and Adam fasts 25 days. No. He wants every believer to do what? يُكْمِلُ الْعِدَّةَ. He wants every believer to complete the what? The same number of days. If it's 29 days, every believer should fast 29 days. If it's 30 days, every believer should fast 30 days. Allah wants the iddah to be completed. Whether you complete it all inside of Ramadan, because that was what was required, فَلْيَصُومْ مَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ. Or you completed some of the days outside of Ramadan because you were ill, or because you were traveling, or you had some other excuse. But regardless, He wants every believer to do what? To complete al-iddah. And with that, brothers, we'll bring today's commentary to a close, and we'll start the Hadith from Saturday, inshallah ta'ala, if Allah gives us life. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وجزاكم الله خيرا.